As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. To me, being a gangster was better than being president of the United States. Even before I first wandered into the cab stand for an after-school job, I knew I wanted to be part of them. It was there that I knew I belonged. To me, it meant being somebody in the neighborhood that was full of nobodies. They weren't like anybody else. I mean, they did whatever they wanted. They double parked in front of a hydrant, and nobody gave them a ticket. In the summer, when they played cards all night, nobody ever called the cops. Tutty Cicero. Tutty. Tutty ran the cab stand in La Buena Vista Pizzeria, and a few other places for his brother Paul, who was the boss over everybody in the neighborhood. Paulie might have moved slow, but it was only because he didn't have to move for anybody. At first, my parents loved that I found a job across the street. My father, who was Irish, was sent to work at the age of 11, and he liked that I got myself a job. He always said American kids were spoiled, lazy, and my mother was happy that after she found out that the Varios came from the same part of Sicily as she did. To my mother, it was the answer to her prayers. I was the luckiest kid in the world. I could go anywhere. I could do anything. I knew everybody, and everybody knew me. But it wasn't too long before my parents changed their minds. For them, the cab stand was supposed to be a part-time job. But for me, it was full-time. People like my father could never understand. But I was a part of something. I belonged. I was treated like a grown-up. Every day I was learning to score. My father was always pissed off. He was pissed that he had to work so hard. He was pissed that he made such lousy money. He was pissed that there were 7 of us living in a tiny house. But after a while, he was mostly pissed that I hung around the cab stand. He said there were bums, and that I was a bum. He said I was going to get in trouble. I used to say I was only running errands after school, but he knew better. He knew what went on in the cab stand, and every once in a while, usually after he got his load on, I had to take a beating. But by then I didn't care. No matter how many beatings I took, I wouldn't listen to what he said. I don't even think I heard him. The way I saw it, everybody has to take a beating sometime. That was it. No more letters from truant officers. No more letters from school. In fact, no more letters from anybody. How could I go back to school after that and pledge allegiance to the flag and sit through good government bullshit? Hundreds of guys depended on Paulie, and he got a piece of everything they made. It was tribute, just like the old country, except they were doing it in America. All they got from Paulie was protection from other guys looking to rip them off. That's what it's all about. That's what the FBI can never understand. That's what Paulie and the organization does, is offer protection for people who can't go to the cops. They're like the police department for wise guys. People look at me differently. They knew I was with somebody. They didn't have to wait in line at the bakery on Sunday morning anymore for fresh bread. They only knew who I was with. And he'd come from around the corner no matter how many people were waiting. I was taken care of first. Our neighbors didn't park in our driveway anymore, even though we didn't have a car. At 13, I was making more money than most of the grown-ups in the neighborhood. I had more money than I could spend. One day, some of the kids in the neighborhood carried my mother's groceries home, all the way for her. It was out of respect.